Nice to see you.
It's good to see you.
It's been a year, I think, CRS last year.
That's insane.
What a year,
It
right?
seems like looking back, it's like when you're in the middle of it, it's like, man, that took forever. But then now looking back, you said a year. I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah,
doesn't seem like
crazy.
it that long ago.
And apparently a lot has happened with you, so we need to talk about it. Love Out of Time
Yes,
for CP.
ma'am.
We're going to get to the duet, which everybody's talking about right now. But just first of all, tell me why, because I remember last year we talked about you were working on new music. Why now? Why this project?
I think trying to figure out as an artist, because we couldn't go tour, because we couldn't really get out and see people and go visit radio stations and stuff. We tried to keep consistent music coming out, and we did. And we released Tennessee Strong, we released Dangerous Thing, and a couple others. And so we were working on this one, and we were trying to pick the perfect time. And I think we were originally aiming for December, but things that I'm learning in the music industry is that you have to, the way the radio charts freeze for the holidays and stuff like that. And so we wanted to start off 2021 right, and we wanted to bring like a new sound or whatever beginning of the year, and just start the year off right. And so it just all worked out, and I couldn't be more proud of how everything turned out and the songs that we've got on it.
It's a really great project from start to finish. La Bamba? Give me what?
Well, I grew up in the Dominican Republic, and so we used to sing that growing up, just playing around. And I played it at shows, and I joke and tell people, nothing catches the audience's ear more than when you're singing a Brooks and Dunn song and then start singing in Spanish the very next song. Right. I wanted to sing it on The Voice, and it didn't happen. And so I was like, I don't care what happens, whatever's on this album, La Bamba has to be on it. And so Danny, the producer, Danny Myrick, we sat down and kind of game planned what it was going to sound like, and it just turned out beautifully. And having Ricky on it was great.
Okay, so let's talk about the duet. Did you know that you were actually trending on Twitter?
I did not.
So how did this happen? First of all, give me the story behind the song, because I know you wrote it with Dean Sams, whatever.
Oh, no big deal. Yeah, no, we, I had met Dean at a Welcome Home concert that I did when I first got back from The Voice. He and the rest of Lone Star came out and played with me, and we just struck up a friendship, and he would invite me over to write. And one day he said, hey, I've got this really great write happening in a couple of days. I'd like you to be a part of it. I said, okay. Showed up, and a girl named Jamie Floyd was there, and little did I know how great of a writer she was. And so we sat down and just kind of game planned, and this song just happened. I mean, I think it took us maybe 2 or 3 hours to write this song. I mean, it was just quick, and everything just, we were all pulling from personal experiences, and we were all pulling from past hurts and memories and whatnot, and this all melded together. And so very fortunate to be in that. And then when we wrote it, I said, I think this would be awesome if we got Kelly to sing on this, because when I was on The Voice, she said, hey, let's do something together. So I sent it to her, didn't hear anything. And then later on in the year, when we were seriously considering putting this on the album, I said, you know what, I'm just going to text her again, because I had to ask her a couple questions about other things. And so I said, hey, can you call me? So we talked, and then I asked her, I said, hey, I sent you a song. I didn't know what you thought about it. Didn't know if you wanted to be a part of this project. And she said, I never heard it. Like, what song are you talking about? And I said, well, I'll send it over again real quick. And so I did. And she called me back immediately, and she said, I want to shout this from the rooftops. Yes, I'm in. Like, let's get this, done. And so trying to coordinate her incredibly busy schedule with mine, with, recording everything, and then also a wedding coming up, and then having to fly to LA to record, or having to send stuff out there. It just all worked perfectly. And then once she heard the finished project, she's actually the one who said, let's do a music video. So we did a music video too. We flew out to LA and we're a part of it. So it's just been an incredible thing. And, I can't wait for everybody to hear it.
Did you record it in the studio together? You said you sent your parts out. Were you ever able to be in the studio with her?
No, ma'am. So I think she was still filming.
Wait, I just lost your audio there for a second.
Can you hear me?
That's better.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. I was not. So we actually recorded in separate studios. I recorded my part first, and then we sent it out to her and her team in LA, and she recorded out there and sent it back to us.
Are you planning on releasing more music this year?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I've already met with my producer, and we're game planning for some new things. We're already starting to write some new material, but definitely already thinking about what's next. So I'm excited. The thing is like people, if they're stuck at home, if they can't go out to live shows, what better way than to just put out new music where everybody can just continue to get stuff where they're at.
And you just played a live show because my son's second grade teacher posted it. She lives in Cookeville. And she,
nice.
She was there. And I was like, oh, wait, two of my favorite people in one place. How did it feel to play live?
Oh, gosh. Well, it was a two-night event. It was sold out. Of course, it was, socially distanced, and we checked temperatures and all that. It's crazy the things you have to start considering now when you're trying to play shows. And but Red Silo in Cookeville has always been incredible. I played that for the last few years, and they're just such a great bunch of people there, and it's like playing to family. But the first night was a little rusty. We were, me and the band, we were trying to find our groove and trying to get back into it. But the second night just went beautifully. We all were just like, oh yeah, we're supposed to have fun up here. Oh yeah, we're supposed to just have a great time and give good music. And so it was so nice. I can't wait for everything to open back up because we're all itching to get back on the road, I'm sure, as every other artist is. But they went really good, and looking forward to what's coming up next.
Okay, so when I talked to you last year, you still had your day job. You're like an electrician or something, right? I
used to be. I was working in radio at the time we talked.
That's what it was. Okay. Are you still doing that?
No, I ended up having to step away just because I was in sales, and you've got to be present with your clients, and I had a great group of clients, but I was flying everywhere. I would go to Dallas for the national anthem, and then fly to Charlotte for this, and then fly to LA for this. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm just not present, and it's not fair to my clients. It's not fair to the other sales reps that have to be there every single day for me to be there once every 2 or 3 weeks. And so it was, and I also was like, I'm at the point now where I need to really give this my best go in music. And so I walked away, and then COVID happened. I was like, I don't know that I necessarily planned that right, but God's been very good. And, I've had a lot of peace about everything, and things have just continue to happen, which kind of shows me that I made the right choice, but I do miss it. I loved working in radio. Okay. So let's talk about your personal life a little bit. You got engaged. Yes, ma'am. Congratulations. You don't have to tell me because I'm using this video, but do we have a wedding date? We do. It's the beginning of March. That's coming up, dude. It is. Yeah. That's why I was saying, like, between trying to get married, release an album, and everything else, I just decided, let's just get it all done at once and, just be able to coast a little bit afterwards. Go big or go home. Okay, so, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, but did you guys really reconnect in Nicaragua on a missions trip together? We did. We have known each other for almost 8 years now, and we actually met. Both of our best friends, her best friend and my best friend, got married. She was living in California at the time. Her name is Brittany. She was living in California. I was going to college here in Tennessee. And we were sending sound bites back and forth to rehearse this song for their first dance. We met at the rehearsal dinner, rehearsed it once or twice, and then sang it, and then went our separate ways and didn't talk to each other for another 6 years. Wow. Went on a missions trip a couple years ago. We reconnected, became friends again. I was interested, tried to pursue. It just wasn't the right time. I was just coming out of a very, dark season in my life. And so, but then she moved to Nashville because her family lived here. And we reconnected again when I went back down to Nicaragua or March of last year in 2020. And it just seemed like it was the perfect time, And so we kind of reconnected and, decided, hey, this is it. And so we've decided to move fairly quick because we're both, 32, and we're like, well, let's just not waste any time, let's just go ahead and do it. So I'm very excited and very excited to see what the future holds. Well, congratulations. And you have a daughter, right? I do. Macy Lynn. She's a little 5-year-old. We're going to pick her up this afternoon, so I'm excited to see her again. Oh, very good. So a lot of people may not know this about you, but your childhood was a little bit unconventional, to put it mildly. Talk about that and how you think that led you to where you are now. Well, I did. I grew up, my parents were missionaries, and so we moved over to Haiti for a couple months and then moved to the Dominican Republic, and I ended up living there almost 11 years. My parents lived there around 14 years. And, we were homeschooled. And so we did the whole, homeschool kid on a mission field, grow up. And it was a great way to grow up. But at an early age, I've always loved music. And so Dad would have me lead like the worship service, lead the singing. And then around 13, somebody, felt led to give me a guitar. And so I taught myself to play, and I was using that. And that just kind of, I think, kick-started the desire to play music more frequently. And then, I'm one of 9 kids. And so learning how to play guitar and singing all the time, I'm sure I made some people very irritated in our household. But, I had a great time. And then I moved back to go to college. And it was around then that I started playing shows, like open mic nights and stuff like that. And really found out that I loved performing. So then it took off from there.
Is your family supportive now?
Oh, yeah. They're actually coming to, my show this weekend that I'm super excited about. But, they all live about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And so even though they're that close, I don't get to see them all the time. But whenever they come to shows, it's pretty special.
Okay, so you, like me, are a person of faith. What would you say to people? I mean, 2020 was hard, and 2021 is looking hard. What's your response to people who are just really struggling right now?
I think it's what I play at the end of my shows right now. And I started it last year. And it started when I played at a church in Alabama. And it wasn't actually like a Christian set. We actually played our normal set, but it was held in the church. And before he took the stage, the pastor prayed and he just said, hey, God, whoever comes to this, whoever's watching online, help them to leave feeling something, some kind of happiness in whatever way, whatever they're going through, help them to feel something. And so I just felt like, it was the right time. And so at the end of that show and every show since, I've started singing the old song, and I'm sure you know it, God is so good.
Mm.
And I posted it, I don't know how many months back, and people went nuts over it. And I started getting all these messages of like, I really needed that, or it brought back, memories of when I was a kid and stuff like that. And we sang it on the bus route. We sang it, for devotion. We sang it at church. And it's just such a profound message, but it's a simple message. And it's like, no matter what's going on, you could look at anything and get depressed about it. You could look at anything and look at it half full. You can look at, or half empty rather. And it's like, as long as we just keep perspective and we go, you know what? Yeah, things suck. Yeah, certain things, we wish they could be better, but no matter what, God is still good. God is still in control. And no matter what happens, like, if we're doing what we're called to do, then it's going to be okay. And I continue to live in that peace. And I'm not saying I'm perfect about it. There are some days that I'm just like, what in the world? Like, God, what's going on? I don't know what to do. But it's just such a profound message to always just remember that God is good and just live your life that way.
I have a hard time singing that song without crying sometimes. It's good stuff.
It's such a powerful song.
Before I let you go, do you have time to do 11 questions, just like rapid fire questions?
Let's do it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, full disclosure, I haven't written these down this time. Usually I do, and I haven't, so we're going to wing it. Okay.
Rock and roll.
Favorite food?
Probably steak.
That's good. How do you like it cooked?
Medium rare.
Yeah, so it's almost still mooing.
Exactly.
Right. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Food you cannot eat?
Oh, I don't know that there's any food that I can't. Well, I can't eat like extreme spicy. I like to taste my food. People love their spice, and I love the flavor of it. But when I can't taste it, and then to be, brutally honest, when it hurts coming out later, I'm okay. Like just leave the real spicy stuff off of it.
Biggest pet peeve?
Probably bad drivers.
Sorry that you live near Nashville.
Exactly. But it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of good ones out here, though.
Favorite vacation spot?
Shoo. Probably the mountains, no matter where it's at. Like if it's in Gatlinburg, we went to Mountain Place in Arizona where Brittany's from. Anywhere in the mountains where there's like a lake or a river or a creek, that's where I want to be.
TV show you could binge watch over and over again?
The Office, hands down.
Right. Okay. Which actor would you want to play you in a movie?
Probably Jack Black. I think that would be a fun. Let's make it a comedy. Why not?
Okay. I like that. What's the weirdest place you have been recognized?
In a bathroom in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. You are the third artist who has told me they've been recognized in a bathroom. And sorry, that's weird.
It's very weird because, I mean, now given he didn't recognize me at the urinal, thank God, because that would have been really weird. But I was washing my hand and the guy was like, are you the guy? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, The Voice, you're Jake Hoot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm meeting you here. And I'm like, I can't believe you're meeting me here either, man.
In a bathroom. Okay, when have you been the most starstruck?
Oh, it's either between singing on stage with Kelly Clarkson or meeting Little Big Town for the first time backstage to sound check before we went on stage together.
I can see that. Aside from when you were crowned the winner, what was your favorite memory from being on The Voice?
I would say probably singing Winter Song with Kelly. That song I've always loved, and that whole performance from beginning to finish, and of course hanging out with everybody in the hotel. We had a great time, all of us contestants. We were all family out there. There's just so many, it's hard to pick one, but those two are probably my top.
What's your favorite part about being a dad?
Oh gosh, I can get emotional about that. I think just watching her grow, it's kind of bittersweet. You're like, man, I miss my little snuggle bug who was, this little tiny, she was born 6 weeks early. But it's so great watching her grow and watching the light bulb go off as she's learning to read and everything else. But I love my snuggle time with Mace, even though she's 5 and she's very independent. Every once in a while, she's like, Dad, I just want to snuggle with you. And she'll get up on my lap and lay her head on me. And that's, you just can't beat that.
And last question, what's something people don't know about you?
Probably that I was a janitor when I was going to college. I played football, worked overnights as a janitor at a local middle school, was a full-time student. And so, yeah, I was cleaning middle school toilets for about 2 years while I was in college.
You had to have seen some terrible things. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I won't get into detail on here. I went into too much detail earlier about the spicy food, but this one
Well, I'm out of questions, but I could talk to you literally all day. And can we please not wait a year?
Exactly. Yeah, you just let me know. I'm always down. Next time I'll interview you. How's that?
Because people would be interested in my life, I'm sure.
I'm sure they would.
Congratulations on all of it. The single, getting married, the album. I'm just super, super happy for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Can't wait to talk to you again here before too long.